P Narayanan.
Vice Chairman, for giving me this opportunity. I am not repeating what my learned colleagues have said. Now, first of all, I have to say there is a very, very great attempt is being made to change the curriculum and the content of education. I would request our learned minister to go through our experience in Kerala. See, we cannot change all over the curriculum and syllabi of whether it is at a school or university, because this is not starting in a clean slate. You can continue what others have done. Till yesterday, what has been done, you can add something on. You cannot change the entire curriculum and syllabi. So, lot of reports have come in papers regarding, including various things. These are good ideas. Even say early Indian knowledge. See, lot of early Indian knowledge has been already become part of our curriculum. So, if you are going to introduce something new, we should discuss what early Indian knowledge that has not been so far noted by our forefathers, those who have gone, the earlier generations, that we have to think of. One. I don't want to go, I am just pointing out that only. Second, regarding the primary education, my other colleagues have said a lot of things. The necessity, see, we have introduced RTE, more than 6 years experience are there, but what we find, the children who enter the primary education, only 72% are being, they complete the education. And only 48% of those who enter the secondary education, they complete the course. I'm not seeing the passing the course, completing. And only 33% complete their higher secondary course. Why this is happening? Because we don't have facilities. Starting with trained teachers, various educational material within the classroom, like that various things are lacking. Even schools, classrooms are lacking. Now here I will just add one point. It is a minor point. Somebody here said the midday meal is not important. That is one of the most important things in the present plight of India. When you have got more than 60% children coming from very backward families, whether it is socially, educationally, or financially backward families, they can be retained only when they are given nutritive food. I am not simply food. Now, that investment will be a great investment for our future of our country. So I will request the minister to not to think of curtailing expense for midday meals. And there I will add, there are people who are preparing these meals. The poor people throughout India, they are getting only 1,000 rupees per month. And that only for 10 months, not all the 12 months. Kindly, when we hear our salary being, it is being recommended that our salary may be doubled, at least double the salary of these people. Let us start from there. Third thing I have to say is that there is a PISA report, somebody has referred to PISA report, which says that 74% of our primary children do not know mathematics and science. Not only mathematics and science, you look to how, you take the 8th standard children, how many of them know all the letters of our alphabet? If you we have done a study in Kerala, and we found that, it was in the late 80s, we found that as many as 30 to 35%, depending on the various types of schools. 7th standard children, they do not know all the letters of the alphabet. Why this is happening? Because on the day one, when they enter the school, there is a great divide. there are children coming from middle class and other families who have learned all the letters and all the digits. Whereas there are others who have not come across with any of the letters or all the digits. And the teachers, they teach the better of students. So we have to make a change, a fundamental change in this. How we should have universal preschooling, so that by the time they start studying, they are on par with others. And I know for certain, from experience, even our Adivasi students, if she is given a level playing ground, she can compete with any children coming from better off. So what we have to ensure, I would request the Minister to provide funds so that these people can be given food. See, in Kerala we have done what you call the learning house. In the evening, many of them live in a single room house where they have no facility to study. So in the ward, the Panchayat arranges a room where such children go and study, and there will be somebody, some elders will be there to supervise the studies. And that has helped to improve the quality of the teaching, learning process. Now coming to, see, the government has made a great desire that 50 million youngsters have to be trained to become good workers or good graduates. That means 5 crores. Now, with the enrollment, with the retention in the primary and the secondary, as I mentioned earlier, 72%, 48%, 33%. It is not easy to reach this in a small amount of time. Unless, see, now for school education we are setting apart only about 42,000 crores, 42,000 and odd crores now. Earlier it was 45,000, now it has decreased. Now unless we treble this 3 times, this amount, we will not be able to achieve such broad aims. Now coming to higher education, I would say, many others have referred to it. What we have to ensure is that in the higher universities and other centers of higher education, there is an atmosphere, congenial atmosphere for learning and teaching. Now, by sending police and charging sedition against students or teachers, you cannot create a congenial, 2 more points, congenial atmosphere, such things. So we have to see that in colleges and universities, we promote discussion discussion on their subjects between teachers and students, and if there are some problems, that will be settled by the authorities, not using the police or other suppressive measures, but by discussion and by persuasion. And then, finally, 2 things. GER for higher secondary education. The previous government and this government is trying to increase that. For that, we have now 700 universities and 38,000 colleges. Many of the experts in education, they have said more than half of them are not worth it. More than half of the universities and the colleges. So you have to see that these colleges and universities, why they say they are not worth it? Because they do not have competent teachers. They do not have well-furnished libraries and other laboratories and all that. That you have to ensure. Now, recently I read about MOOCs, MOOCs, more open online courses. By running such things, we will not be able to create or to train competent people who can handle our things. These things are good, and these are things, certain things which have been tried out in US and other countries, and they have thrown out after some experience. So that we have to remember. And finally, we have, I read about HEFA, that is Higher Education Financing Agency. I read somewhere that the government has got an intention to register a company under Companies Act, which will collect every year 20,000 crores for distribution for higher education. Now,
Please conclude.
If I am completing.
Yes.
Whether we should run it as company for private profiteers for that, or for universities and UGC and other RUSA and other things, whether we should have such companies or we should use government's other methods that the government should seriously think of. Thank you.
Thank you.